What's up, y'all? It's Steven from Straight Shooting with the Boys. We're back the week of Thanksgiving week. Well, not yet, but the game is on Thanksgiving week.
Yes,
We're
sir.
not playing on Thanksgiving Day, but we are playing in Mexico City. Monday Night Football. Exciting, exciting, exciting. Um, yeah, so let's get into this, man. Got a lot of things going. Like I said, Mexico City. Apparently, it's going to be cold, which is weird. So Mexicans
Yeah,
would think it would be warm, but
yeah.
cold apparently. So they're practicing in Colorado this week in the snow in freezing temperatures to get ready for that. What you think about it?
I'm excited, man. I watched the Germany game, and it was definitely a different vibe with the fans out there and stuff. But it's
They had like
excitement.
they had whole pictures coming out. They're like, yo, with their little
Yeah,
beers.
it definitely felt like a soccer game in that
Right.
sense. Like they were doing the wave and stuff. But it's cool, man. Going international, bringing the NFL to different countries and shit. Like that's It's exciting, and then Mexico. I said something about like 80% of the tickets are going to Niner fans. So,
I think it's
uh,
87% or some
yeah,
crazy
so
number like that.
it's gonna be a home game for them, but it's definitely gonna be in our favor. So, I'm excited about that. Obviously, like from being from California, Latino community is obviously big supporters of the Niner fan base. So, I think it's gonna be fun,
I
man. There's
think
gonna be a lot of people getting drunk out there. The teams. I'm glad the teams aren't practicing out in Mexico because that would have
it would
been
have got wild.
yeah,
Would have got
it could have
wild.
been
Which is it's crazy. So like Arizona's closer to Mexico. I think they anticipated Arizona having a bigger fan base.
yeah,
But the San Francisco 49ers fans have proven time and time again that they travel really, really well. Even East Coast, West Coast, North, South, it don't matter.
yeah.
Apparently, it doesn't matter if it's international either. They're an international team. Um, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Coming off the last two games, I really am looking forward to it. It seems like the defense is getting their rhythm back
Yeah,
slowly. They're making good second half adjustments, which we were talking
yeah,
about at the beginning of the season. They didn't do
yeah,
that real well. They were not
yeah,
adjusting well. Now it seems like they're adjusting, making those adjustments, and then shutting teams down in the second half, which
yeah.
is it's nice to see. Our offense is starting to come around. I like the little I don't even know what you want to call it. They're both pretty fast, but our running back tandem seemed like that was quick and quicker.
It's
So
almost
them
it's almost like a trio though, because you still got Debo working back there at running back too.
That's
So you
true.
got like the
That's true. And he had a
you got
couple
the
runs where it seemed like teams weren't ready for it this week. Like
yeah,
he
yeah,
had a
yeah,
couple runs
exactly.
and it was like, oh, okay, he's back.
It was
Um,
actually in a change of pace role. It wasn't like he
yeah,
was the focal point like he was in the past. So definitely like seeing that. Like I couldn't even predict in the past games. I could predict what plays we were running just based off of the personnel and kind of how we're lining up. This game I wasn't. I was like, all right, Debo's back there. Are we gonna? Oh shit, he's throwing it to McKinnon. It
uh,
threw me off guard. So I know for sure now defenses are gonna have to at least guess a little bit more
so
with
you
what
said
they're
the
doing.
this is not a topic, but you said the word predict and it reminded me of something. What do you think about Trent Williams tipping plays?
Okay, so I've seen that, and I also seen a breakdown. And I think this breakdown was perfect. As a defensive player, you have so many different adjustments. You got to find the personnel. You got to find out how many running backs they have, especially for our offense, particularly. Like I play D line and linebacker at times. You're trying to recognize all these different things. Like maybe as an individual defensive end might be able to identify from Trent, like, hey, he's lining up in pass coverage. I'm going to get ready to rush the passer, vice versa. But you're still going up against a 6'5", 300 fucking monster who doesn't matter if you know the player or not. He's going to beat your ass. So
That's true.
realistically, like you might tip a play to one player, but the whole defense to be able to identify what the personnel is, make the adjustments, call the plays, shift the defensive lineman, do all that kind of stuff, and then on top of that, now identify if it's a pass or a run, and then relay that message to the rest of the team. Like it that amount of time, we're not taking that long to snap the ball. Like we're taking long to
Did
get to the line of scrimmage, but we're snapping the ball within a few seconds. So
did you watch what was his name? Honcho, I think it is.
yeah,
You
yeah,
watch you watched it?
that's
Yeah,
a
I saw that. It was funny too because he was like, "Oh yeah, he's tipping the play and he's doing this, and you got to see that, and you see this, and then at the end of all that, he's still gonna beat
you're
your
still gonna get
ass."
beat. Yeah, you're still gonna get beat. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't favor you All it tells you is okay, like because you pay attention as a D lineman, they tell you that anyways. Like you look at their hands. If their knuckles are white, you know it's a run play. They're ready to come at you. If their hands are off, you know they don't have a lot of pressure on their hands. They're getting ready to step back, probably in pass coverage. So you pay attention to that anyways. Like all Trent Williams is doing is giving himself an opportunity to get in a position quicker. And then that way, when you do get to him, he's gonna fuck you up regardless. So, I think his issue, and I've seen him he doesn't get beat very often, but the times he does get beat, it's by the speed rushers, and it's when they're trying to set up a formation where it's like we're gonna run the ball. So I'm sure he's trying to line up to look like he's running the ball, and then he has to step back and try to get in that. Speed rusher is not even buying that we're running the ball at all. They're up the field immediately and they're right past him, and then they're in Jimmy's face. So I think at that point he probably just decided like whatever, I'll tip the play. Like you guys might know you might know we're gonna run the ball, but who we running the ball with? You guys might know we're gonna pass the ball, but who we gonna throw it to? Like it's one of those things where
That's the hard thing is now with Elijah Mitchell back, and he looks. Before he got injured, I told you I was like he looks a lot better. He's reading his cuts a lot better. His blocks a lot better. He's cutting a lot better. He looked good. He looked really good in this game. With him back, CMC and Debo running, as you were saying, I just want to see the jet sweeps now. If we get the jet sweeps going again, I think this offense is back to clicking and it's unstoppable. Now, last week we should have had at least 30 points. There was another one where I didn't see the play. I didn't see it in real time. I went back and watched it. And Jimmy messed up. Jimmy handed the ball to I think it was McCaffrey. And Debo, it was a run pass option. And Debo was wide open in there. And one defender, and he would have had a touchdown. Yeah. So we could have had, it should have been a 36, 40-point game, easy. But we ended up with like 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
We are struggling in the red zone, though. I'll give you that. We are
which surprised me. I thought adding the Christian McCaffrey factor would help us in the red zone. I think the problem is when we get to the red zone, we get very predictable. It's easy for us to run these formations and stuff when we have all this field, and that's for every team, right? Every team, they say the closer you get to the end zone, the harder it is to run plays because you have to set up. Yeah, it's a smaller space to be able to develop plays. The thing is like trying to run play action in the red zone, like unless we're lined up in a super bunch formation, a power formation, I could see that working. But you have all these weapons, like just either line up in that power formation and run the damn ball, give it to your running back and say man up, or go out there and spread the field. Like you don't have as much space to run routes, but you have the best 2-3 step receivers in the league. Like Ayuk straight off of his routes, Kittle straight off of his routes, like even Debo, you have him motioning, having him running out to the slot, having him run out to the flats, and CMC running out to the flats, or even CMC coming, running some routes to the middle of the field. You have the best type of receivers to run a spread offense and throw the ball in 2 seconds. So like I think they're worried that Jimmy's going to get hit, Jimmy's going to panic on the goal line, but you have all these wide receivers, spread them out, make them either go out there and say, okay, they're going to blitz, have your hot reads, have these, but you have the best type of receivers to just, and even Jennings at that point, like all these wide receivers, you can go 1-2, throw the ball at them, and they're going to catch it. They have the hands to be able to do that. Ayuk dropped a ball like that during the game, so I can see why that would at least raise a little bit of aggression.
Yeah, Ayuk has 2 or 3 drops since Jimmy. I think he was just so prepared for Lance. He's dropping easy passes that Jimmy's throwing him. He didn't drop anything with Lance, but he had 2 or 3 where Jimmy hit him in the hands, and he's like, usually it's back shoulder too. That last one wasn't back shoulder; it was right in the chest. But there were 2 that were back shoulder. He dropped. He's by far the best receiver on our team, though. Like he's better than Debo right now. He's playing just great. That one fumble he had was a freak play. Like he got
The helmet hit the perfect spot at the right time. That I can't even put that on him at all. Yeah, I agree. I think he's our best receiver. So when you say receiver, it's running routes, catching the ball. You know what I mean? Like across the board, he's our best receiver. I think every guy has their own thing that they bring to the table. Debo obviously with his running ability, Kittle with the same thing. You got Jennings who is a third down monster at this point. Like you can't even deny him on third down, third and long. Like I'm almost always looking for Jennings. You got Jennings.
Third and 5, third and 7, third and
Yeah, it doesn't
anything.
matter. Yeah,
If it's third down,
third and whatever. It's third and
yeah,
Jennings. Like that's what
third
it
and
is.
Jennings.
Like,
So we should start calling him third and Jennings.
yeah, third and Jennings. Yeah, but yeah. So every receiver brings their own. Even Ray, like he has
Yeah,
his
he's
own
starting to
little.
come out too.
Yeah, he's in my opinion, he might be our second best wide receiver on our team. Like you got like I said, all the different abilities. So obviously, football players. When you talk about best football players, you got Kittle, you got Debo, you got these guys who have all these different multifaceted things that they can do. But when you talk about just wide receiver, like I think it goes Ayuk, Ray, and even maybe Jennings at that point. Like I think those three guys, Ray's catching some balls that you're like, damn, I don't think anybody else would have caught. And then he's running with the ball after too. Like he's this little, he's a yak guy at 5, whatever he is. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's
tiny, but
fast.
he's
He's
quick.
super
He's
fast.
good. He scares me sometimes with the ball in his hands because I feel like he
Dude,
could fumble. But
anytime. He hasn't
yeah,
fumbled yet though.
anytime he has the ball in my hands, I'm like, don't fumble, don't fumble, don't fumble. But then when he has the ball in his hands, I'm also like, this dude's not going to get tackled right now. He's not going to get tackled at first tackle.
Yeah,
So it's
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 like
it's like a
it's like playing with fire. It's like, oh, he's got it. Oh shit, he's gonna fall. Oh no, he didn't fall.
yeah.
Okay, we're good.
It's he's very much like even like I would say not at the level, but like Deontay Johnson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, like he had that same ability. Like he did it on the Steelers when he was there. So I like having him out on the field, especially on third downs. I feel like when Jimmy has to improvise, he's the best wide receiver for that because he's just that quick, shifty, and he'll go up and he'll grab a ball. So I
Yeah,
mean, I think we did struggle on in the red zone. I think we'll adjust. I think we ran a lot of inside plays, especially with
a
C-Mac. I
ton,
seen us,
a
yeah, I
ton.
seen us doing that, and I could see why. I mean, you got Khalil Mack out there. You got
Yeah, I mean, I know.
that.
I see why we didn't run any jet sweeps against this team. They had Khalil
No,
Mack on one
yeah.
side, and on the other side they had Derwin James. Like
Look at the plays.
I understood it.
Look at the plays they made in that game. Like I'm like, you
Yeah,
can't. So I get it, and you can see it. It was kind of frustration for C-Mac on his face. You can kind of see it in Mitchell in those types of games. I hope C-Mac, like I think he's smart enough to understand. Like there's certain games are going to play to his benefit, like his favor. I think like
hmm
this game right here, Arizona. I think he's going to have a big game. There's certain teams you're going to play that are just going to aid to Mitchell because he's that run behind the tackle, run behind the guard. He can catch the hole and he'll just lower his shoulder and run.
yeah,
The same way Wilson did when Wilson was there. They're different types of backs, so he has to understand. Like, there's going to be times when we're going to give Mitchell the ball more often. It's just going to happen. I think in those plays where we have Mitchell on the field, we should find a way to work him in at slot or work him in out on the field. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
I
But
was so before we traded Wilson, the week before they played CMC and Wilson were in on the field at the same time on either
yeah,
side of Jimmy or CMC would go to the slot. They didn't do that one time this last game with
no,
Mitchell and him, and that could just be because Mitchell hasn't been there, simply. But
true.
I think I
To be
like to
able
see
to,
that. I wouldn't even mind seeing CMC and Juszczyk in the backfield together because both of them are pass or
yeah,
aggressive pass game.
they both can run routes and they both can run the ball. They both can run the ball too. Yeah, I think it's not necessarily the CMC thing. I think it's the team chemistry thing right now. I think CMC obviously has our plays down. I'm not worried about that. Dude is intelligent. He's able to pick up those plays. I'm sure he's comfortable. I think we'll start to add more formations and more things to the plays. I think it's just getting the chemistry down, like the timing down between the team. You know what I mean? Because you can know a
Yeah,
play but not have the timing down with the tight end or not have the timing down with the full. You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna. It's looks simple. Like they still have their plays in there, but I think it looks a little bit more simplified. Not because we're not getting it, but because it's just develop that rapport, start to kind of figure out who's doing what on this team, and then put it all together into
yeah,
a
that makes
full
sense.
game.
That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of our pass game is hindered
Yeah,
based simply off of our right tackle. I don't think. I think Kyle. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan doesn't trust the right tackle or if he doesn't trust Jimmy G. Either way, Jimmy G has shown that he's not going to turn the ball over and he's going to make
yeah.
plays. And he's made a lot of good plays this year. The
Yep.
play to Ray down the sideline, the play to CMC for a touchdown. Like those are plays that were not scripted. Those are good quarterback
Yeah. Yep.
playing football plays.
That's
You
plays
know,
that he made. Plays that he
but
made it.
he had to make them off schedule because the right tackle couldn't block the DN.
I
Um,
am gonna say this until my dying fucking breath. I do not like McGlinchey. I noticed it from day one, the day he got there. It's not that he's a bad tackle. He's probably one of the best run blocking tackles in the
he's
league.
not this year. Not this year.
Yeah, well that too. Yeah, but I
This year
mean,
he's
but
been bad.
yeah, he's been horrible. But that's my thing. Like I feel like when you have to adjust plays based off of personality, it messes up your play calling, and it surprised me that we didn't go after a tackle or try to go grab another tackle. But like at this point, like if we have to like run school in there, like
Yeah,
I'm better. I think, and but Makovitz is back, so that's where I was gonna go with that.
he did come back this week.
He was
Yeah,
hurt. He was hurt. So I mean, I can get why they'd have to go McGlinchey. At that point, he's the best lineman we have on the
option.
field. But now that
That's true.
Makovitz is back, I mean, it might be where he loses that spot, or he gets moved down to maybe like
Guard.
the big package or something where they run with two tackles, like that type of formation. But otherwise, I don't think he's better than our guard either. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of with that.
McGlinchey, obviously, this is his last year in San Francisco. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
as a starter, at least he might come back as a backup. Who knows? He was serviceable and even above average because he was such a great run blocker
hmm
until he had that quad injury. But this year, he's not even been a good run blocker. He's getting beat. We can't even run to the right side. We're running left every single play.
yeah.
And
Any yards we're getting, it's to the left or it's like it's
up
an
the middle.
outside run outside the
Yeah.
where
It's
like
bro,
it's as much of a pass as it is a run. It's like those quick toss, those little things
yeah.
that they're doing. That's the only
Little
time that they're able to
tosses,
get.
toss it
Yeah.
forward.
It's a pass, but it's a run on the
Yeah.
book. So yeah, yeah, I agree. I think he's our weakness. I think it's teams are noticing that too. You noticed Khalil Mack lined up on that side almost majority of the game. So like
Every single play, he was on that side, which I don't blame him. If it was Nick Bosa would have lined up on that side too, because he wasn't gonna. Who decides they want to go up against Trent Williams?
yeah,
He was
no
like,
one's gonna
"Hey,
go
you come
against
over
Trent.
here.
Yeah,
I'll go over there."
no one's gonna willingly go against Trent. So yeah, it sucks, and I mean we'll have to deal with it. Like I said, hopefully Makovitz. I feel like he played pretty well when he stepped in. He's still not the best, but I think
Right.
he can still be a better fit than McGlinchey at this point. So I think he's an upgrade on that aspect, and
Somebody,
even
I was watching somebody. I don't remember who it was, but one of the 49er podcasters. I can't remember who it was I was listening to. But he was like, "Yo, just tie George Kittle to McGlinchey's hip. That's what
true.
you need to do." And then
Sure, I mean they're
but
not really utilizing him in the passing game either at this point. Like shit, you might even have to move Kittle a tackle. like,
yeah,
like
because
that.
he's not really been. I mean, granted, he gets one or two plays a game, but there's so many weapons on this team. It's like one or two plays for Debo, one or two plays
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Kittle, one or two plays for Ayuk, one or two for McCaffrey in the pass game, and it's like pretty much that's our pass game. And then you got third down to Jennings. He's gonna get his two or three, and then it's like anything after that is just icing on the cake for whoever gets it.
yeah,
Especially since
exactly.
Ayuk played
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
But
It's definitely one of those. It's a good feeling. It's a good problem to have when you have that
yeah,
many weapons on a team that you're not going to have any one guy. It sucks for fantasy owners of anybody on the Niners, but outside of that, like it's good in the sense of like we to have that problem, and I'm good with it. Like I know Kittle's going to get paid regardless because of what he brings to the table. Just like Juszczyk. Like Juszczyk doesn't have to run the ball to know that he's the best fullback in the league. Kittle doesn't have to catch the ball to know that he's the best tight end in the league. Like I hate when people are oh they thought he was going to be as good as Kelsey. Like
they're
I
two
don't
different
know
players.
I don't know if they understand what a tight end is. Like literally the what that position is and what it is. Like sure Kelsey did elevate it in the receiving part of it. There's been Antonio Gates. There's been all these guys that they look at him because their ability to catch the ball, and I'm like Yes, but then they're just big wide receivers. Like Kyle Pitts is a big wide receiver. He's not a tight end. A tight end is supposed to be able to play on the line of scrimmage. And I say this passionately, and I know if we had Kyle on here, he'll say the same shit. They take pride in their blocking. Real tight ends take pride in their blocking as much as they do in their ability to catch the ball and run with the ball. So when you got tight ends that you can't put in on blocking situations, Kelsey comes out of the game. They put in their backup tight end on times that they're running the ball. So that tells you right there, Kelsey's not a tight end. He can line up at that spot and run the routes against linebackers and against safety. So he's a mismatch for sure, but he's not a tight end. Like when you talk about the best tight ends in the game, you start going back to these guys who do both things. They have to be able to block, they have to be able to run, they have to be able to catch the ball, they have to be able to line up and spread out into a wide receiver position. And Kittle can do that across the board. Just because he doesn't get the balls often doesn't mean that he's not still one of the best players on the field. You know what I mean?
And Kelsey, I think Kelsey's even said it that Kittle's the best tight end in the league.
Yeah.
This year. I mean, he probably won't say he's the best tight end in the league, but he'll say other than him, he's the best tight end in the league.
Yeah. They both give each other their props. And like I said, it's not that I'm saying Kelsey is not the best receiving tight end in the league, and he's not he's changed the game on the tight end scope, just like Gronkowski, just like all these different guys have changed and elevated the position. And he's been good for the position. But I hate when people say like, "Oh, tight end," and don't call him the best tight end. Call him the best, whatever else. You can say he's the best football player on fucking Kansas City's team. I'm good with that, but don't call him the best tight end in the league because that's not even close to the case. But
I hear it. But speaking of best in the league, our defense is still the best in the league. I don't know how because we got worked by Kansas City. It seemed like Atlanta worked us on the ground, but we're still number one in every category. I don't know how. I saw it and I was like, that's got to be wrong. Like what?
Yeah, so statistically that we're still there, and it comes down to like averages, right? Like those games where we had like no yards allowed. That's obviously like over the course of the 9 games we played. That adds to that. But I also think, and we were talking about a little bit, it's the adjustments we're making now in the second half that have kept us that number one defense. I think we start to get worked, and like even we were in our text train, and they're like, "Oh, the Niners are." Defense is back, or the Niners defense.
Not us. That was a Cowboys.
No. Yeah. Other people on the text train.
That was a Cowboys fan who was mad that I said Dak is back.
Yeah. That was somebody that was upset about that loss. But
yeah, he said that, and then our defensive back shut down the fucking Chargers the rest of the game. So he didn't say nothing else the rest of the night.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where like we're the type of defense when we're healthy. So when we're not healthy, we're not. We're definitely not. We're the complete opposite of that. We got worn down by the Falcons. It wasn't that they were a good offense. It was just that we had guys on the field that weren't used to playing 60 minutes.
Bosa didn't play that game either, right?
No, we had none of our starters other than like I think it was what
Ed Beckham, Brett Warner, Greenlaw. I think was only 3. Oh, and Ward, but Ward got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And Huff got hurt that game too.
And Ebicam came out. Ebicam came out a couple
of times.
So our starters didn't play, and the guys who were in there, they're having to play these long amount of time. Like they're going to get worn down. And a team that runs the ball, I'll give Falcons that. Like they run the ball really well. They have 3 running backs that are all just as good as each other. So they had the perfect. It was a perfect storm for us in the sense of. They had the best offense to be able to beat up a team that's hurt. You know what I mean? That we were injured. So when we're healthy, though, like it's the complete opposite. We wear teams down. We have so many different guys that can rotate that these linemen are in there all game. Offensive linemen are in there every day, every play. These running backs are in there almost every play. They were having to take Eckler out and put Spiller in because he's getting hit. Like it's like he's like, fuck, every time I'm in here I'm getting smacked by somebody. So it's one of those things where like we start to wear people out, and then towards the end of the game it's okay, now you guys have to beat us. Like you guys have to beat us, not you know what I mean? So it makes for a good defense. And like I said, and you said it earlier, D'Amico's finally making those adjustments at halftime. He's not counting on the Shanahan 15 play then don't do anything. Defense. I'm sure he heard the conversations out there about he wants to be a head coach and he has to be able to do that kind of stuff. So I think he's finally doing that. He's making the adjustments. He's paying attention, and it's showing on the field towards the end of the game. Our defense starts to get better and better and progressively better throughout the game. Whereas, we just got to click, like you said, we just got to click in the red zone and click on the offense and not make the stupid mistake. We had some weird freak stuff. We had the block punt, we had the fumble, we had all this stuff where we gave them the ball. We gave them plenty of opportunities to beat us. So the fact that they didn't beat us, that goes to show like what our defense is and what our offense can still do. We still stretched the ball out across the field. We still went 90 yards and killed 15 minutes or whatever that stat was on that drive. So it's one of those things where we have a team we're set up to be a full 60 minutes of football, and you're going to get worn down. You're going to get beat up by us. So
that's true.
we stay healthy.
I don't know if you watch Thursday Night Football on Prime, but they have different ways to watch it. So they have you can watch it regular. I don't know who I forget. Herb Street and Al Michaels, or you can watch it with their new
their new staff. Sherman and all that.
And then you can watch it shows the play, and then when they run it that way or how it works, it's different. But then they have a new way to run it or watch it with the shop with LeBron James. That's how I watched it last night. Jalen Ramsey came on and was talking about how he would make a tackle on Derrick Henry, and all I could think about was because he told LeBron he was capping. He said, "You lying? You cap a lot." And I just thought, bro, you're capping. You ain't gonna tackle Derrick Henry because you won't even tackle Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, bro, Ayuk was breaking tackles. What are you talking about?
You don't want to tackle anybody on the 49ers. No. What are you talking about tackling? Get out of here. Anyway, I thought it was hilarious. I just wanted to bring it up. No really reason. I just wanted to bring up that the Rams suck. Okay.
Yeah.
So the 49ers think they have the best running back. Why the 49ers? I mean, Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell think they're the best running back tandem in the league. I want to say yes because I'm a 49er fan. However, I do think they're the second best tandem in the league because I think the one in Cleveland might be a little bit better. Just because they don't lose anything from either person. These two, we talked about it. We lose something.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that they probably are the best running back tandem. That being said, they're not in the best opportunity to make plays like our running backs, I guess. So that it comes down to that too. Like if you have the two best wide receivers in the league, but you have a mediocre quarterback, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
So it is week 11. So next week we might be seeing Deshaun Watson back.
That's true. So we'll see how that goes. But I still think they're still a ways away from being that team. They have the talent for sure. So we'll see how that goes. I think Deshaun, if he gets a few weeks in, I think he's going to struggle the first couple of weeks. But I think once he's back and he gets his feet under him, I'm sure they'll be better.
They let him come back to practice a month ago or something?
Yeah, he's been practicing, but it's a different vibe when you get to actual game and play. So
and he ain't played it. He hasn't played in 2 years, so that's true.
No, even during the preseason, he looked not like Deshaun Watson for sure. The plays that he got in, so I was like, But that being said, I would say we're the second best running back tandem on skill set and talent. But I think in terms of scheme, in terms of the ability to get set up to make good plays and to have the play calling and all that stuff added on top of that, I think we're the best offense in the league.
I think so too.
Yeah, but with the running back tandem, you don't lose anything in the sense of I'm not worried when Mitchell or McCaffrey's in there. I'm completely confident either one of those two. They do different things, and you kind of know what they do, but at the same time, because they still have the ability to do other things, if they wanted to, they could. You know what I mean? It's not like where it's where they had the Thunder and what was it? The Lightning and Thunder in the Giants.
For the Giants, it was three of them. They had it was 3 people. What was it? Earth, Wind, and Fire or something like that?
Yeah, because they had Brandon Jacobs. They had I can't remember the other two, but I just remember Jacobs. Bradshaw.
And I don't remember the other one.
Yeah,
I don't think he was good, but he wasn't as good as.
No, he was that speed guy. But it was one of those things where you put Jacobs in, you knew they were going to power of the fucking football. You put Bradshaw in, you knew they had either it was going to be an outside run or they were going to pass the ball. So you knew exactly what was going to happen when they were in. Where Mitchell, you can put him out there at running back, and 9 times out of 10 he's going to run through the tackles for sure. But
Yeah.
he's still fast enough to run outside the tackles. He still has the ability to catch the ball if they really wanted to run a play action or have him block. You know what I mean? So I think it's not as telling when they're on the field, especially with McCaffrey who can do everything. It's not as scary to have either one. Like I'm like when you watched the Chargers, you had Eckler go in and you're like shit. We had Spiller go in and I'm like like you know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about Spiller. So I think that they bring that aspect of things where it's not going to be easy to predict what's coming next. You know.
That's a good point. I do think we have a great running back tandem, including Deebo Samuel. We probably have the best in the league.
Yeah.
I do think that one,
Shit,
Christian McCaffrey's only been.
add juice.
I know. Christian McCaffrey's only been here for 3 weeks now, so he's barely getting confident in the system. Elijah Mitchell that was his first game back since week 1, so it's only going to get better from going forward. So I'm looking forward to it. So this week we obviously have the Arizona Cardinals in town. Oh, not in town. Sorry, in Mexico City.
Yeah, in town. It's still our home. Sure.
That shit might as well be everywhere. San Francisco's home. Like for me, the matchup I'm looking forward to seeing. I want to see D Hop versus C Ward every down that they're on the field together. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see D Hop versus Hollywood Brown. I don't want to see. Ward versus Hollywood Brown. I don't want to see D Hop versus Lamore. I want to see those two go at it every single play. I don't care I don't care. I just want to see that happen because Barrett always covered D Hop every time we played him. Barrett covered D Hop and he shut him down. I want to see Ward do the same thing. Yeah. And this team is not a scary team. Like they don't have a tight end. Their tight end just they lost it for the season. They don't have a real scary running back. They have Connor. He's good. He's very good, but he's not going to break a game open.
He doesn't strike fear in me either. Yeah.
And then on the other side, like you got Hollywood Brown and AJ Green. AJ Green is way past his prime, and Hollywood Brown is a speedster. We just play if we play by our defensive rules, we should not worry about those two at all. Therefore, I just want to see Ward versus D Hop. That's all I want to see.
It's gonna be fun, man. Like I said, and I think with Barrett going out, I mean they all wore like Barrett shirts, and it's definitely that. This is almost that game. Like he was the Hopkins kryptonite, so they kind of have to channel some of Barrett and put that into Ward. I think Ward has the ability to. I think there's times where he gets beat, but it's not really his fault. I've seen times where like they've caught balls on him, but it's because like, again our pass rush it matters. So I think that's my thing is what I'm looking forward to seeing is how well that defensive line does because I feel like they played pretty well against San Diego and it got better as the game went on, but they needed. We've always struggled against mobile quarterbacks, so I don't know if D'Amico dials up a lot of some blitzes this week just to put pressure on Kyler. Bring Hufanga on the line, let Ward drop out. Even if you swap Ward and Hufanga at this point, like let Hufanga play on the line of scrimmage. I feel like Ward's good on the line of scrimmage, but he's not doing well at the slot. If you had them swap and then you had Hufanga coming off the line of scrimmage, dropping back linebackers, do some things to put pressure on Kyler and to kind of make him have to make decisions. But I hate, and it's always been our fucking kryptonite, is those quarterbacks that can kind of just maneuver back in our corners. Again, you can't expect them to cover forever. So,
I mean, Ward hasn't really given up a whole lot. I know he gave up the bomb against the Chiefs where he got beat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like a one or two plays. It's never like crazy like he's getting beat, but and then those plays, it's our D line just not getting in the backfield. We're rushing for and
most of the time I see him giving up catches. It's usually a back shoulder or like a quick.
It's a good pass. The best way to beat a good corner is a good throw. So I mean,
better than anticipated. I was like, oh, we got the second best free agent and corner. That's great.
No,
Like that
no,
will still
he's
improve
yeah,
our team, but he is
yeah,
by far the best free agent and probably top five cornerback in the league right now.
in the league right now, 100%. Yeah. So at the end, it's going to come down to, like I said, I think him obviously doing his part, but we have to make it uncomfortable for Kyler. If Kyler has time to do his thing, like it could get out of hand quickly, especially with those wide receivers. And on the other side, Lamore, even if Ward shuts down Hopkins, you still got guys on the other side that can still, because even Rondell
Yeah.
Moore's another guy he's come
Oh
up
yeah, I
big
forgot
the
about
last
forgot about
couple
him.
weeks. Yeah, so
Forgot about
they
him.
got weapons that they don't even need to run routes. They should get the ball in their hands like our wide receivers, and they can still do some stuff with their speed. So
But
it
saying
could get.
Lamore has been better than Thomas because
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't seen him get picked on at all this year.
He's our best second corner that we could have had in the situation we're in. Losing E-Man hurt for sure, but he's the best guy left on our roster. That being said, though, I think he hasn't gotten picked on, but he can start to get picked on if Kyler has time. I guess
Time,
is what it's
yeah.
gonna. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying like it's gonna come down to us getting pressure on Kyler, and then if not, those wide receivers are quick enough to, I think, get open on Lamar, and then at that point, it's just them getting the ball now and running. You know what I mean? So
Well,
we have speed on our defense
let's
too,
just
but
let's just hope Kyler didn't watch my show.
yeah, don't tune into the podcast either, Kyler, because I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no idea.
I know we don't watch enough football. We don't watch 49 football.
Not at all. I don't break down film like daily. It's not that for sure. Ignore me.
Uh, so with everything being the way it is, we lost two cornerbacks now. We've been missing the interior of our D line pretty much half the season. Do you still think we're Super Bowl contenders?
100%. So I'll tell you right now, no team wants to play the Niners. And again, everybody who watched that film last week, like sure we didn't dominate the Chargers on the scoreboard, but anybody who watches that game understands we were 2 or 3 plays from scoring 40 points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that we did that, we wore them down. There's guys getting hurt every play because they were tired. They were just gassed. Like it, we have the players, the personnel, the offense, the defense across the board. Teams don't want to play us, and once we get to the playoffs, like it showed last year, it's a different switch. It's a different switch that turns on from Kyle and his play calling. It's a different switch that turns on, on our defense and how we play the game. So I still think we're Super Bowl contenders. I don't think the NFC is as good as it looks. I mean, we've talked about it every week.
Yeah.
With Philly and the NFC East, I think that's a smokescreen 100%. I think Minnesota is the only team that, to me, in the NFC that really like scares me, and only
It's a good team, bro.
yeah,
It's a really good
they're a good
team.
team. They got the running backs, they got the receivers, they got the defense, they have everything that we have. So I think in the NFC, it's not as competitive as the AFC by any means. And we said that at the beginning of the season. We were trying not to, but we were like, damn, the AFC has a lot of good teams, and it's
Oh
good for
yeah.
the AFC. It's good for the AFC, but it's also bad in the sense of you don't know who's going to really win in that division. It's really hard to tell. People are trying to pick Chiefs. Some people are picking the Bills. Some people are saying screw both of them. Like there's a lot of other teams out there that can play. So with the NFC, because of the way it's set up right now, sure we have a lot of good records in the NFC and a lot of good divisions, but realistically, like those teams aren't as good as they look, and our record doesn't really speak to what we should be either because we had a few games that it just wasn't. We weren't set up to win those games because of our injuries and everything else.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. The one thing I'll say, I think because we were so Debo dependent last year,
yeah,
teams are taking that away. Until we figure out a counterpunch to that Debo situation, we don't have anybody that can take something to the house yet. We have we can definitely have these 15 play drives. We've shown that for 4 years now. We can 12, 15 play drives all the time, 90 yards, 95 yards, doesn't matter. We're gonna get that. We'll get one or two of those a game. But we don't have that person that could just like, you know what? I'm gonna take this to the house for 75-yard touchdown. Like last year, Debo was doing that once a game. he was taking it 75 yards to a touchdown, or he would get like a 65-yard gain. He was doing that every single game. This year, we don't have that. I think until we figure out that situation, whether it's him getting open again, or figuring out how to make some plays, or it's CMC being integrated into that position where he's making those plays, or is it Kittle coming back and getting those big plays? We need somebody to get those big chunk plays because right now we're just relying totally on these 5-yard runs and Ayuk. And
Yeah,
we could do that, but once we get to the red zone, we struggle. So if we don't get the chunk plays, we don't have anything to surprise teams with,
yeah, yeah,
and that's where we are just really falling into this rut of running, 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 running. Oh, we'll throw it. Running, running, running. We'll throw it. So until we figure out that Debo situation, or is it CMC, or is it Kittle, or is it a combination of all three? Doesn't matter who we're playing. Doesn't matter. I don't know. We
yeah,
just gotta figure
yeah.
something out to make these chunk plays happen. Because for the
or we
moment, I don't think we
or
have
we
a
signed a certain or we signed a super a free agent that's out there.
yeah, that would be nice too. I do need a new jersey. No,
Just saying.
that
I
could be
mean,
it too.
there's been some conversations, and the coaches are seeing the same thing you're seeing too. You know what I mean? So at that point, like we signed CMC. Everyone's like, okay, you don't need that. We have all these weapons, we have all these things, but like you said, we don't have the guy to change. It's a really, and I think what you're saying is it's those momentum shifting plays. Like
Yeah.
when you have a consistent like tone of a game, it continues that tone. It starts to drag along, and the team can switch the momentum that quick because the tone's so close and it's so monotone, right? It's so like
Yes.
over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
So you get one big play and it shifts the everything immediately. So I think when you have those big plays, instead of it being so monotone, it's like that Richter scale where it's like it's steady and then it's like boom, and it
Yeah.
shifts the whole momentum. The
That's
fan
exactly what I'm
base
talking
shifts,
about.
everything shifts, and it's like
Because
you get the fan.
for whatever reason, we go from the 5-yard line to the 20-yard line. We go 75 yards. Fans don't really. They're like, oh yeah, we're doing a good job. But if we go from the 5 to the 25 on one play, it's like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
shit.
it
Everybody's
changes.
screaming. The
It
players
changes
are
the dynamic.
excited.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
for sure.
we
I can
did the
see that.
same thing, but
Yeah,
it
yeah, we
just
we
didn't work
covered the
out.
same amount of field. It's just done differently. No, I agree. And there's teams like Miami and that have those types of play. Like, and so I agree.
Mhm.
You see the games. You start watching some of these games, and you're like, they're not any better than us, but because they have those big like 40 yards, 50 yards, like down like that play to Ray, like that play changed
The whole
the
game.
it shifted the whole momentum. You know what I mean? It changed the whole fan. Like everybody was into it. All of a sudden, now it's like a big thing. So I agree. I think we do need to find that player. I don't know that it's that we don't have it. I think it's that we're again. It's the chemistry. I still it goes circles back to what I was saying. I think once everybody's in understanding that like everybody's it's a smooth machine. I think then the Debo plays and that kind of stuff's opening up. I think they're trying to minimize Jimmy mistakes, which when he doesn't make mistakes, he plays pretty well. I think they're trying to make it very like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So I
Yeah.
it he has the ability to do that, and I think yeah, I think it's coming. That's I guess what I'm getting at. I think we still have those players on the field, and I still think we can still do them with who we have on the field. But it's one of those things where when you get a new weapon like that, you don't want to just pull it out and just start firing everywhere. Like it's, I think Shanahan's being a little cautious on how he goes about it, and again
Yeah.
because of his past issues with his injuries and stuff, I think you still have to be careful. With the way you call the plays, but I agree. I think we have to, whether it's Shanahan putting in plays that are just like unconventional, like he normally does, and getting the ball in their hands, letting them do their thing, or them just stepping up. I mean, I think Debo, he's smiling, but it's like you almost see it like he's comfortable in his role now. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
like he had all those talks about him not wanting to carry the workload, and then you get a CMC, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm excited now. I don't have to carry the workload." But it's like you have to get him, I guess, re excited again in the offense and let him kind of do his thing. So even if we have to run a couple of
we
plays.
don't we're not doing the things that make him special. So
Yeah,
we're not running the screens. We don't run the screens barely ever anymore. We don't run the jet flies or jet sweep. Sorry. Uh,
yeah. That I think that's what
we're
we're gonna
not
get back to that
we
for sure.
don't the intermediate. He was running intermediate routes, 15, 12 to 15 yards. He was running those routes and unstoppable last year. This
Yeah,
year, I don't think I've seen that route one time this year. And if it is, I've seen somebody else in that position. I like
yeah.
Ray McLeod, which is cool.
It's been Ayuk
Like,
doing them. And,
yeah, and they're both good, but Debo turns that into a touchdown or
yeah,
50-yard gain. Where they Ayuk is good on that. He'll still get 15, 20 yards, and he's making the plays. But
he
Ray
has the
McLeod
ability to do it,
can't.
but yeah, but Debo just has something different about him, and then because I think again because he had so many of those plays, just him touching the ball gets people excited. Like I
Yeah,
think
like even if he
especially
gets
Niner
2 yards,
fans.
everybody's on their feet. Like I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
he only got 2 yards, but damn, he looks like he could have got touchdown right there.
yeah,
You
exactly. And
know?
he's slamming the ball on the ground every time. Like, damn, like I was one fucking hand away
Yeah,
from taking that. Like, so, yeah, I agree. I think, and Kittle has that ability to do that too. I think he also has the ability when he gets the ball in his hands to get people excited. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to come down to those two. I think between Debo and Kittle, they need to find ways to at least get him the ball, even if it's like you said once or twice, but for big plays, and then let them keep the momentum at a heightened level instead of a very somber. But that being said, we can win games like that. We did it in this game. It's just not going to
yeah.
look as it's not going to look
It puts a
as
lot. It puts a lot more pressure on the defense to do it that way.
yeah, and it allows the other team to be able to get back in the game with just one play. So that's what worries me about that. I'm
The
okay with
teams
winning
like
games if it's 13-16. I'm okay with that. But
the teams
when you
like
play
Buffalo,
games
the
like that,
Chiefs, and Miami,
yeah,
when they can score 3 touchdowns on 3 plays, it's like
yeah,
you got
exactly.
that's rough. You can't put all that
That's
pressure
what
on the defense.
that's why I say the AFC is different. I think the only team in the NFC that can really do what the AFC is doing is Minnesota, and that's because they got
Jefferson.
Dalvin, they got Jefferson. Yeah, so I mean it's a different type of ball in the NFC and the AFC. I think, but that it wouldn't hurt for us to have those plays every so often, and at least like you said, once you get to the Super Bowl, now you have to be that team. You have to be able to make those plays and be able to make those
Exactly.
keep the game on
Exactly.
that.
So last year we were probably the best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
Toward the end,
going into the
we
playoffs for sure.
the only thing we were missing last year was another corner, was a Tre'Davious Ward. This year, only thing we're missing is our right tackle. Like,
Shit.
God damn it, get that right tackle showing up. Because last year we had the guy, he couldn't pass block for shit. What was his
No.
name? I can't remember his name. He couldn't pass, but he was a good ass run blocker.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
He couldn't pass block for shit, but run blocking, he was great. And then our left guard was obviously Lincoln Thompson, who was way better than who we have currently, but who we have currently is young and developing, and it could be better. Um,
And he's had some good plays. I've seen some times where he's
yeah,
he's doing some things. He's young
Banks.
for sure. Yeah,
Banks,
and
and he wasn't even projected to start this year. He was projected to be a bench player, and he's been
yeah,
better than because Spencer Burford was supposed to start, and Spencer Burford got benched. So he's obviously doing really, really well, and he could become a great player. But currently, our offensive line is way worse than last year, which also could be leading to lack of explosive plays.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. True. Lack of time for Jimmy. Hey, that's
yeah,
what it comes down to. And that could be why we're running the ball more often. We're they're not a bad run blocking offensive line. So you know what I mean. Like all these
yeah.
running backs, all they need is a sliver, and they're gonna
And
do their
Jim,
thing. So
like that play last week where he handed it to Christian and didn't pass it to Debo. It's like he's rushing. He's like rushing the
yeah,
decisions instead of letting it happen,
I mean,
which could be specifically based off the offensive line in front of him.
yeah, yeah, that's
Also,
true.
before we move on, what do you think about Trey Lance possibly coming back?
This year.
Yeah, they said he said
Yeah,
okay.
he's
So
in his
he's
walking
supposed
boots off, right?
yeah, he was jumping on the sidelines last week. He was like up and down jumping. So from what I've been hearing and listening to, he could possibly be medically cleared, not this week, but possibly next week because it's a bone injury. Um,
Yeah,
there's
it
no
wasn't a
limitations. There's nothing for them to worry about. It wasn't a muscle injury or a ligament issue.
yeah.
So there's
where I
nothing
can
like
read.
he has to like work his way back. He could just come back. Now I don't think he should start, but
No,
he's a
no,
whole lot
but
better backup than Brock Purdy.
no, yeah. I mean, come playoffs, if we need that big play, like change of pace, you know what I mean? Like we run, almost go back to the preseason, right? Like we have him in there, a certain personnel. We have him kind of doing certain things. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think Jimmy. I think you need to give it to Jimmy the rest of the year. Even though I'm not a Jimmy fan, I think he's playing well enough, and to keep him engaged in this offense, like you can't even mention Trey Lance having an opportunity to come
I
back and
know.
start. Like you got to keep that lid on there tight. You know what I mean? Like he already had to adjust his mindset from I'm going to get traded to now I'm starting and I'm playing again. He's finally getting back into that mode, and I think you can see it with the team and the interviews and everything else. He's back as the Niners starting quarterback, and I think if you even throw that out there and like float it out there, it's gonna fuck him up. So, so, so
But
I,
I think
I
to be honest, I think the players. So at the beginning of the season, the players were anti Trey and pro Jimmy.
yeah,
Mainly Ayuk was the only one that was pro Lance, right?
yeah,
But now it's like it seems like the players' body language is more when they get missed. Like when Devo got missed, it was like he turned to the sideline in a pissed off, like what the fuck moment, like
yeah.
dude. And that wasn't happening previous years. And now it's like George Kittle gets missed, and George Kittle's like, yeah, what the hell, man, like
I,
wide open. So I see
I
the
think they
body
I think
language
they
is
all know. Yeah,
changing toward Jimmy.
yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know that he comes back this year and plays. Well, he might play, but he might not start. But I do think that the players are now definitely getting on board with like, okay, I can see the upside of Lance
yeah.
and
I
why we
can
need
see
him.
why we went his direction. Yeah, and that's enough. I mean, to be honest, like if everyone's Super Bowl or bust right now, I don't think so. I think we brought McCaffrey with the intention of re-signing him and bringing him in there for a long term. So I think I would love to go to Super Bowl this year, and that's still my aspirations. But I think even if we don't, I think we set it up now to be able to bring Trey back next year, or a couple of veterans that are out there that might decide they want to jump on board, and I would be okay with that too. I think it was everybody's in agreement now. Unless we win a Super Bowl, then there might be some people out there that are questioning it. But outside of that, I think everyone's in agreement why we moved away from Jimmy. Not that we couldn't win with him because we were winning with him and we're still winning with him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I think people are understanding what we have. Like everyone talks about it, the weapons that we have. It's like a fucking Pro Bowl team. The only
it
thing that's
is.
missing from that Pro Bowl team is that Pro Bowl quarterback. So that's why, like, I wouldn't be mad at us going and maybe acknowledging a Brady or a Rodgers or something. You know what I mean? Like that I would prefer next year
Yeah,
over Trey and give Trey another year. Trey's 20 years old. Like I'm not in a rush to get Trey on the field. I'm in a rush to get Trey on the field if it's him or Jimmy, but I'm not in a rush to get Trey on the field if it's him, Jimmy, or one of these quarterbacks. So
yeah, I
so
feel it.
I think it wouldn't be bad, and I think if Jimmy understood, like I said, you're gonna have to keep that tight. You're gonna have to make that out there, acknowledging that you are our guy this year. If we bring Trey back, it's going to be purely in situational circumstances where we're running the ball, where you know what I mean, or there's a certain type of throw that we need him, bootleg type of throw or something like that, where Trey can do better at those plays. But
Yeah,
I would honestly, if we're gonna have any chance of contending and keeping Jimmy and everybody engaged, we gotta support him. If because the team, that's another thing too, right? The team's missed. These plays are getting missed. If you give them even an inkling of there might be somebody else that we can bring out here, you guys are getting missed. Trey's available now. It's gonna create a divide that
in the locker
doesn't
room.
need to be.
Yeah,
There's already a disengagement, but if we're winning games, disengagement doesn't matter as long as you understand. Okay, we're gonna go win this game. It keeps you engaged to a sense of like I'm still gonna go out there and do my job. You know what I mean? Whereas
yes.
you start to wave, that magic that magic thing over their head, and then you're like, we start to struggle a little bit. Then that could be troublesome. So I don't want to see us implode come towards the end of the
That
season when we have an opportunity.
that makes a lot of sense. I do think that I think whether we win the Super Bowl or not, Jimmy won't come back because we can't
No,
franchise him.
no, he's
I think
not. He's
he's
not.
gone.
This is his last
I think he's
season
going.
for
I
sure.
think he's going to New England. I think he's going back to New England personally.
I could see that.
Um,
Or
I think
or
that'll change.
or a Tampa follow Tom around.
I mean, sweet if they switch. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we get to the Super Bowl. Speaking of hopefully, the beginning of the season, we made our predictions for the NFC Championship game or for the Super Bowl. Who would win the NFC Championship game? Has your predictions changed? I don't even remember who you picked, to be honest with you.
For the NFC Championship, I got to pick
I know
Green
mine
Bay.
changed.
Mine changed for sure too.
Oh yeah.
so it was Green Bay and the Niners. That was my initial prediction. It's still a possibility in that division. You never really know with Green Bay, but that being said, I think depending on how the seating ends up, I think we end up Minnesota, not San Francisco. I think those are, in my opinion, the clear two best teams in the NFC. And if we get to that point, like I said, if we hit all the stuff we need to hit to that point, and Minnesota continues doing what they're doing, I think it's going to be a setup for a good NFC Championship. They'll have the home field advantage, so it'll be in Minnesota, and then I think depending on how the weather is, that'll determine. I think
If
how
the
that.
weather, if it's cold in Minnesota, we win it. No
Yeah,
problems.
yeah. I'm saying
That
like.
takes Jefferson out of. Oh, it's
Yeah,
cold. You're
yeah.
out.
That takes their whole offense, their whole
Yeah.
weapons. Yeah, we run the ball better than they do. So, yeah, that's at this point the teams that, in my opinion, Eagles are not that team. I've never thought they were. They're good, but they have a really good defense. I'll give them that. They have two best corners in the league for sure. but they're not. I don't think they're set up to be. I
I
think they
think
get
Dallas is
surprised in the
better.
first round. I think, yeah, that's so do I.
I think
I think they get
Dallas is
surprised
better,
in the
man.
first round. I think they hold the seeding and then they lose to a Dallas or they lose to a even New York potentially, like in the
So
playoff.
let's see. Right now, I think who's winning. Who's leading the South right now? Is
The
it
South, it's
is
Tampa
Tampa Bay? Okay.
by a game though. At any point, one team could win one game and the rest can lose and they can go to first place. That's how bad that
So
division is.
so if Tampa Bay's the wild card team, wait, who would be the wild card teams right now? So we got the first is Philly, second is Minnesota, third is Seattle, fourth is Tampa, fifth is
Tampa.
San Francisco.
I think we're six,
No,
right?
no, fifth is Dallas, and then
And then
San
we're
Francisco.
six. Yeah,
So the way I think it's gonna work, I think Dallas will win the division.
yeah. I think we
I
win the
think
division.
I think Philadelphia is going to be the wild card team. I think we will win the division, and I think
Seattle.
Seattle
I
will
think
be the
Seattle's
wild
going to
card
be
team.
the other wild card team. Yeah.
So if we win the division, I think we'll be the third seed. That means we would play. That means we would play the fourth seed, right? So that means we'll play Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I think we'll handle them.
I think we
You're
beat
saying,
Tampa. Yeah.
and then that means that the fifth seed, or sorry, the fifth seed and the no, sorry, the sixth seed will play. No. We will play the fifth seed, which will be Seattle. No. Sorry, Philadelphia, and I think we handle them. Tampa Bay will play the sixth seed. I got that wrong. Tampa Bay will play the fifth seed, which will be Philadelphia. Philadelphia wins. We will play the sixth seed, which will be Seattle. We handle them. I don't think it's an issue.
No.
Uh, the issue comes in the next round when we will have to play the second seed, which is Minnesota or Dallas. Oh, let's
That
play
would
Dallas,
be
huh?
that would
We're
be
gonna
the
play
what?
Dallas.
No, we'd play
We're gonna,
Dallas and then we'd end. That's what I'm saying. So the way it's seated right now, the NFC Championship,
okay.
the only time we'd play Minnesota would be in the NFC Championship. So that's why I can see it going out that way. I
I
think
see what you're saying. I see what you're
I,
saying. Okay.
yeah,
So you're saying we will beat, we'll win at home against where we play. We'll play Dallas in Dallas. We beat them.
we beat
That's
Dallas.
gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a good game though. They got a great fucking defense.
Yeah, they got a
However,
great defense, but I'm not sold on Dak and that offense.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
they're
That's what I'm saying. I don't like that running
Tony
game is
Pollard.
very boomer bust. I don't
Yeah, it
like
is.
Zeke. I
That's what
haven't
I'm
liked
saying.
Zeke. And then they have CeeDee Lamb, and that's pretty much it right now because Gallup ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, they don't
Uh,
have any wide receivers that scare me. So their offense plays to our defense. Like it's gonna be
yeah,
Dak having to make plays, and that's not happen doesn't happen very often. Their run game isn't as scary. Like they're Pollard and Zeke aren't bad running backs, but our defense is a way better run stopping defense than the teams that they played. So it's one of those things where it's going to come down to their offense having to beat our defense, and I don't see that happening. I don't think our offense
uh,
beats their defense drastically either, but I think we score enough to win a game like that. It'll be a close game like the last year's game, but I still think
so
it's going to come down to.
the only issue I have with it is that means Kirk Cousins has to win a primetime game.
That's true. That is true.
So
But I think it changes with the playoffs on the line, though. You know what I mean? Like I think
yeah,
his issue is definitely prime time. Obviously, under those lights, he struggles.
yeah.
Maybe they'll get him some. Maybe they'll get him a shaded visor and have him hand the ball off. I don't know, but,
So who
but
would it,
I,
that means they'll have to play either Philadelphia. They'll play Philadelphia.
yeah, and I think
So
they
that'll
beat.
be a
I
good
think they beat
game.
Philly. I think they
That'll be a
beat
good
Philly.
game.
I don't think Philly's. Like I said, I think Philly's record is purely based off of schedule right now.
The issue I
I,
have with Philadelphia is they don't have a real run game. Um, they basically rely on Jalen Hurts to do everything, and they have a great receiver though. So they have
They're
AJ Brown,
they're
who's
they are
nice.
Chicago with a better. They're Chicago with a better defense. That's my opinion. It's the same shit. They don't
I
have
think they have
anybody on
better.
the.
I think they have a better O line though.
Yeah, maybe.
Philadelphia's O line is pretty
Well,
solid, but they don't run the ball, so who knows? I don't know if they have a good
yeah,
line.
I don't. I think they're the Bears with a better defense and maybe a better. I mean, definitely a better wide receiver because they got AJ Brown. But
Yeah,
outside of AJ Brown, I think the rest of the wide receivers are mediocre, and it's mostly Jalen Hurts just
just
extending the plays.
improvising everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
I get
that's what
it.
I'm saying. Like Fields is that guy that does
So
the same thing.
I
If you
was
plug,
trying.
my
I
thing is
was
if you
trying.
plug Fields into the Philadelphia Eagles, they have the same record. That's what I'm. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
fair.
not. It's not. They don't have anything else that to me like changes
I,
their
I
makeup.
was
It's like.
I was trying to disprove your Minnesota versus 49ers, but I was literally going to say the same thing before you said it. So I got Minnesota versus San Francisco too, with us winning in Minnesota.
Yep.
Or the Super
And
Bowl. But here's your AFC change. My AFC has changed. I think at the
definitely.
beginning we picked. I think at the beginning I picked Buffalo versus Kansas City. Uh, it won't be Buffalo versus Kansas City.
No,
You want to go first? I'll go first.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm going to pick, and out of the AFC is going to be Buffalo versus the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
That's why I say it going. I think the Chiefs are a great team. If they were in the NFC, they'd go
Oh
to the
yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are a great team. They're in the NFC, possibly going to the Super Bowl. However, they're both in the AFC, and the two best teams in the AFC are in the AFC East, in my opinion. I think South Beach 49ers are the second best team in
Yeah.
the NFL. Uh, they have the best receiver, or yeah, they have the best receiver. They have the second. They have the second. They have the best number two receiver in the NFL, and their run game is they have a Mostert who is incredibly fast, which we know, and then they have Wilson who can just beat you up. If everybody stays healthy, Tua included, I think they'll. I
Yeah.
think they're. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think they're
You
going
know
to
what?
beat the Bills. I think they're going to
Yeah.
beat the Bills and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I can't argue that theory, dude. I could definitely see a Niners, McDaniel's, Shanahan, fucking
Oh man,
showdown. That'd be pretty crazy.
South Beach 49ers versus the San Francisco
But yeah,
49ers.
exactly. Head to head, East Coast versus West Coast, man. That could be fun for sure. I think I agree. Yeah, I was gonna try to the same thing you're gonna do. I think I was gonna try to dispute it, but I don't see it panning out any other way. I think the bad thing and your boy, and
He's
I'm gonna tell
not
you this.
here.
I think the
Torres.
Jets. Yeah. I think the Jets would have had the opportunity had they not lost Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall there they have the run game. And Michael Carter's not bad, but he's not
Yeah.
like that ability. So I think their defense is the best, in my opinion. Their defense is the best defense in the NFC or the AFC. I don't think there's a better defense in the AFC at all. And
I
they have
think
a
the AFC East is going to be
best division
the
in the
best
football, right?
division going forward. Yeah, because their
In football,
defense.
yeah.
So their defense is good. The Patriots' defense is good. I think the Patriots are going to get a quarterback, possibly Jimmy G this year. They'll be fine again. They have Belichick. The Dolphins are young as hell and good, really good. The
Yeah,
Bills are young as hell and really good. The only thing the Bills don't have, and is the reason why I picked the Dolphins, is a run game. They rely on Josh
that's
Allen to
true.
do everything.
That's true. I
And
I think that if
with
they would have, if CMC somehow somebody would have ended up
went to
there,
the
that would have been
Bills,
they would have been the Bills
yeah.
100%. And it would have, yeah, I agree. I think
Or
that's their weaknesses.
even if they went and got Jeff Wilson, I think they'd have
Yeah,
been
true,
better off.
true. Yeah,
Singletary's
I
good,
agree.
but he's just not a bell cow. He's not a bell cow, but he can't run between the tackles
No,
20 times a game.
I agree. I
Um,
think you're right. I think their weakness is their run game. I think they have a good defense, a better defense than I expected them to have this year,
uh,
and they have a good receiving core and obviously a great quarterback. But yeah, I agree. I think their run game is what hurts them, and I think Miami, their weakness kind of was on defense, not drastically, but it was there
mhm.
until they went and got Bradley Chubb. I think Bradley Chubb now made them immediately that they're better
Yeah,
than the Chargers defense, and that was who I picked as the best defense in the AFC at the beginning of the season. So now it's not even close. but
yeah. And I think
um,
the Chiefs' weakness is defense. Like they're
yeah, yeah,
obviously offense, they're unstoppable, but they're not going to be able to stop anybody in the playoffs
no.
in the AFC. And then
And when they play
the
a team with a defense and a decent offense, they're going to lose. That's why I think Buffalo
exactly.
beats them. Yeah,
I think even if they play the Dolphins, they're going to lose because the Dolphins could run the ball and
true.
keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand. Um, and then the Baltimore Ravens, their weakness is pass game. They have no
Yeah,
pass game, and their defense is mediocre. It's good. It's a good defense. It just can't
I could see
hang
the
them.
Jets. I
Can't
could see
hang
the
with them.
Jets beating Kansas City even personally because they have a good defense and they don't have to.
Who?
Their offense is decent enough.
So as of right now, the playoff teams would be the Dolphins as a wild card team. The Bill. No, are they leading? They're
Dolphins,
a
I
wild
think, are
card team,
winning
right? Wild card team? Or are they leading?
their division. I think they're leading, right?
The Dolphins are? Because they only
Yeah,
lost like the two games that Tua didn't
the
play.
two. Yeah. I think they're winning.
Okay, so then they'll that's gonna be one of them's gonna be a wild card team. I don't know which one.
Yeah,
So
it's hard
those two are in the
to.
playoffs. Those two are in the playoffs. Then you got the Baltimore Ravens. You have the who's out of the North? You have the Chiefs, obviously, in the West.
Yeah, you
Is
got
it
Chiefs.
is Pittsburgh in? Pittsburgh's not in, are they?
No, it's no, not Cleveland either. Cleveland's staying seven.
Oh, sorry, it's Baltimore. It's Baltimore right there. Who's out of the
Yeah,
South
Baltimore.
then?
Yeah. So, well,
Name
you
some
got
South.
Baltimore.
Tennessee? Is it Tennessee? Is Tennessee in?
Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, it is the
Okay,
Titans.
then who's the next wild card team? Is the Jets going to be the next wild card team?
That's what I'm saying. I think the Jets
Damn.
make the playoffs this year. So they
Jeez.
have the potential to send three teams and maybe even four teams to the fucking playoffs. So so it's the way it's set
Damn.
up now. It's possible, but no, I think they send three. I think Jets get the other spot, and like I said, I think the Jets are going to be like that 2019 Niners, and they're going to surprise some teams, but. I think their issue is going to be they're not going to be able to run the ball. And Zach Wilson isn't comfortable. He's not experienced enough, I think, to handle the Kansas City type of craziness or like the a Buffalo game where
Yeah.
it's. I
They
think
could throw
I think
30
he'll.
on you and they could throw 30 on you in the third quarter and it's like, what is this?
I think he'll panic in those situations, but I think that defense is good enough to if they can figure it out on the ground and at least get some movement. I think the Jets could surprise some people in the playoffs. That's why I was like, I think if they had Brees Hall, I think they might have been my pick to go to the Super Bowl. To be honest, like I watched that defense and
Damn.
it's good. Like that defense is great. Salas did exactly what I expected him to do. He made that defense, if not the best in
It's
the
a,
league, like top three in the NFL altogether.
it took him 2 to 3 years to build our defense. So yeah,
Yeah,
this is year 2 or year 3 for him. Year
you
2,
too.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's almost there. Shit, he's a good coach too. So I like it. I like
yeah,
both. I like McDaniels too. I'm excited to see what uh damn, I forgot his name. Our defensive coordinator does next year.
yeah.
Um,
D'Amico. Yeah, he'll end up starting. He'll end up
Lions,
as
yeah,
head coach somewhere. Yeah,
yeah. I like to see. I'm excited to see what that does, and then see where I think we're gonna hire Vic Fangio back. He's already in the building, so I mean
yeah,
he's gonna be
yeah.
his
I can
offensive
see that.
coordinator.
I can see that
Which is
happening.
good, smart move. Get a defensive coordinator in the building. Get ready for the next because you already know you're gonna lose somebody. That's a
Yep.
smart move. Um,
And we have
that
personnel. I mean,
happens.
we have the personnel for him to do well with. So
Yeah, like what he did with he has good linebackers and he had good line every last time he had good linebackers. We and a good defensive line.
yeah, we went. We did what we did. So.
Yeah, so we know what it's about. All right, man. Well, that's all I got. What you got?
That's it, man. I've been posting videos. I try to get people over here to the page through TikTok and stuff. So I think it's just getting people to know about it and see it. But
I know we took a little hiatus. Well, I did. I took a little hiatus. I'm on vacation, and then I had a training last week. Um, so my bad.
no, man. Hey, we got stuff that comes on, man. We're gonna get this. Like I said, we'll get it hammered down. We'll get more people invested in it, and like
Hopefully,
people joining in and jumping in. I think we get the interaction with your boy and get some other people on here. All of our
yeah.
boys, it's straight shit with the boys, and none of them are coming through, those assholes. So
I know. It's straight
if you
shooting
guys
with
are
us too.
listening,
That's
man,
it.
jump on the page. Let's go, man. Get on
Fucking,
here. Let's get some conversations.
fucking dicks. Uh,
Goddamn Cowboys fans.
fucking. We the boys. Fucking
Yeah,
boys. I should have never put we the with the boys. I should have put something else. God damn it.
I know, but that's what we called each other. So that's we started that. Let's put that clear now. The
That's
Cowboys
true.
copied that from us because
That's true.
we
We
were
did
the
start
we
that
were the
shit
boys.
years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah,
That was
before
good.
they were them boys. So let's.
Well, that's all I got. That's all we got for this week. Tune back in after Thanksgiving. I'll be fat. He'll be fat. Niners will
Yeah,
get
yeah.
another W. And that's
That's
it for
it.
the
In
boys.
Mexico, I'm gonna get those Mexican drinks put out there on the page too. So.
Hell yeah. All right, brother. We'll see you later.
Let's go, let's go!